What are we here to see?
The Hunger Games Catching Fire.
What about Captain Phillips?
We saw that one already.
I want to see it again. Can you go see that one and I'll go see Captain Phillips again?
If you want.
Hold on. Hunger Games. That's the one with the Horcruxes?
No.
Wait. That's the one with the girl who falls in love with the guy who's a vampire.
Not quite.
Hunger Games.
There are no vampires.
What?
Falling in love, maybe.
What's this movie about?
There's the girl and the districts and the games.
District 9. Like that? It's different. No aliens in this one.
No aliens.
Am I going to enjoy this at all?
Doubtful.
Well, let's show everyone your little catnip evergreen costume.
This was just items in my closet, so could be a lot better. But it helps that my hair, I can braid it on the side.
Also, pro tip: we bring a dish towel instead of using up those napkins and sacrificing more trees in Oregon.
This works a lot better.
Okay, you ready?
Well, to wipe the butter off our hands, let's
Yes.
be clear, because there was no explanation except we need a rag at the movies.
All right.
All right.
Well, let's go see this movie about the One Ring in Mordor, and then we'll go home. Okay, ready?
Okay.
Let's go.
You know she's gonna cry.
What's it gonna be? She say, I don't know. I have a lot of feelings right now. Okay. Hey everyone, Eric Thompson here. Hope that you was that a grumbly in your tumbling? Hope that you are, and you are doing well. Welcome back to the channel. Joined by Mrs. E.T.'s film review, Tori Thompson, and Baby. And so we're here to continue the BTSD series concerning the Hunger Games. This time, we just saw the movie Catching Fire yesterday, opening day. You saw a little clip there at the beginning. That's kind of my fun little thing I do when I go to the theater. It's just pretty much to make fun of people and myself, and to make fun of the movies, just have a good time. And so here we are continuing, with the series, with Catching Fire, like I said. Also, we just want to acknowledge, first and foremost, that some people have maybe not seen the movies, and so we'll try to make the movie part spoiler-free. But to be fair, because it is a book, there's also a certain level of, give me a break, you could have looked on Wikipedia in 5 minutes and found out everything that happened. Okay, so I don't want to hear this. I'll put a spoiler alert in the title, but we're still going to say things that happen in the movie that have already happened in the book, which you could have read. All right? Your thoughts? I think that's reasonable.
Sure.
Tori, maybe there's someone who just literally came out from under a rock and does not know what this film based on the book is about. Would you give us just a synopsis?
Okay, so very quickly, the first book is about main character Katniss living in a dystopian future in the United States, imagining what it has become, and the United States is split up into districts, and all the districts have to send tributes each year to fight in the Hunger Games, which is battle between all these kids, and one winner gets to win like food and provisions and stuff for their district for a year. So that's the quickest summary I've got. And so in the second book and second movie, we have the main character Katniss, who has won along with her friend Peeta from the same district, and they go on a victory tour. And there's some.
What's a victory tour?
They won the Hunger Games last year, and so they're on tour in all the districts.
Just showing off.
Showing off, right?
Look how great we are.
And and so they're on the victory tour, and there's some unrest. They have a fake romance that they use so that they could both win together, because there's only supposed to be one winner. So they won together, and the president of the United States, Pan Am now, is not very happy with them because he knows that their romance was fake to win the games. He feels like they deceived him and manipulated the system, and he kind of has to show them who's boss. And so in the new Hunger Games, the 75th Hunger Games, instead of having fresh participants, they draw the names from people who have previously won from their districts. And there's only 3 people that have won from Katniss's district, so she's back in the games. Her friend Peta is back in the games, and they have to compete against former winners. So, you know,
Other champions.
a cut above your usual pick. And there's just also unrest, revolution brewing in the country.
Okay. So looking now at the differential, you know, we have an incredibly popular book series made, once again, all the more popular in a rave, you know, popularity by the film series, which is doing very well. I mean, just box office alone, like whether you believe Metacritic or not, like the numbers speak for themselves. But let's talk about that differential, you know, where they meet and where they diverge. And so do you feel that the movie was a just representation of the book?
I would say overall, yes. Like the first movie and book, the movie stuck pretty close to the plot of the book, didn't leave anything major out, didn't add anything major that caused any issues, anything that I would have to be nitpicking to complain very much. And so, yeah, I would say it was a just representation.
And I want to break this question kind of into 2 parts. This is Baby Cam. Would you say that there were things from the book that you missed in the movie? Or were there any additions in the movie that maybe you appreciated that gave more to the story or not? Or what do you think?
Okay. I would say something that I felt was lacking a bit in the movie would be the development of Prim, Katniss's sister, and also her mother. There's a bit more about them in the book, and they become more important in the 3rd book as well. Granted, they're not major characters, it's not a major issue, and there was a little bit of development with them as far as taking care of an injured friend. You get to see a little bit, mainly about the sister and her relationship with Katniss, not so much about their mom.
Sure.
But again, that was a minor complaint. They also added in, like they did with the first movie, kind of a behind-the-scenes look at the creation of the games. And President Snow and his dealings with the game maker, Plutarch Heavensbee. And so...
Played by the admirable, venerable Philip Seymour Hoffman,
yes.
who's always outstanding.
Yes, and he was good. I thought...
very, very plain role for him, but very good.
So they're kind of going out on a limb. They're making things up because it's not in the book. The book is from the view of Katniss, and so we don't know what's going on in President Snow's head or in Plutarch's head or anything. And so I don't know exactly how I feel about how they dealt with that. I felt really good about it in the first movie, their additions as far as the viewpoint of making the games and the game maker and stuff. This time I was a little bit more wary of it, but I wouldn't come down and say I really didn't like it. I also wouldn't say I really liked it. I don't know. Maybe with time, another rereading of the book, I'll have a more firm opinion on it.
In the last video, we talked about a diary device or a journal device, you know, which can allow for the 3rd person, you know, overview of a plot line that maybe was missed or things in the past. Not a lot of that in this movie. Very little, I would say. Some flashback, but not much at all. Or if there is flashback, it's more used like in the moment when they go to a certain place and then she's reminded of a certain thing that happened in the previous movie or something like that. And so there's not as much development in that respect. I liked the background on the games, even though really it wasn't like, oh, I'm going to set up the arena to be like this. You didn't see a lot of that. They didn't want to spoil anything. We're not going to spoil it for you either, of course. But I appreciated that you at least got to see into those private rooms where Snow and whatever his name was were not only conspiring, but you could see also the beginnings of the plot, which is, of course, emerges in the end of the 2nd film, which leads to, and here's a little spoiler alert for you, but part of that nationwide rebellion, of course. But that is a trend throughout the 2nd film, so no surprise there. Like you've seen even in the trailers, the commercials on TV, you see they're going in the train in the tunnel, and she sees the Mockingjay flash by. Well, there you go. This is the very beginnings of it, and we see more of that realized in this film. Finally, of course, which did you enjoy better, the book or the movie?
I actually would have a harder time choosing. The first time around, I felt pretty strongly that I liked the book better. But I honestly think the second and third book didn't exactly strike me as super well written compared to the first one. I think that they slowly declined in quality. That's my personal opinion. And so here I guess I liked the book better, but I think the movie, as a representation of the book, was pretty solid, pretty close. One is not like a runaway winner. I standalone as a movie, I probably wouldn't say it was that great, and Eric can speak to that because he hasn't read the book. But I will say I did really like the actresses. Or actors and actresses in the parts of BT and Iris. If you've actually read the book or seen the movie, you'll know who I'm talking about. And I really enjoyed the actress who played Joanna, who reminds me a lot of Kristen Stewart, if Kristen Stewart had more of a range of emotions.
Well, Jenna Malone was pretty one-emotioned in this as well. Like, she was all rage and all fury. But she has done more films in which she has played different roles than Kristen Stewart, which she was to fall, but she looks a lot like her.
Yeah, I was thinking that as I watched it. And then I also, Elizabeth Banks, who has been on 30 Rock as Avery, if you watch that show, and plays Effie Trinket, who is part of the group that prepares Katniss and Peeta for their victory tour.
The sponsor, she's the bankroll.
She's not really the bankroll, but her job is to kind of walk them through it. The money doesn't come from her, but it's her job to prepare them for things. And anyway, she was in the movie a lot more. She had a bigger role than she did in the first one, and I enjoyed her a great deal. Stanley Tucci.
I feel like we got to see with Effie, that she realized her how fickle it all was. She was encouraging them to be professional and to be, role models and whatnot. But in the end, I felt like, especially at the very end, she looks and she sees it all and she's like, this is all for nothing, And that she's tried so hard to be prim and proper and presentable and all this stuff and perfect, but then I don't know. It's like her character broke at the end for me. I thought that she was gonna start taking off all her stuff because I was like, I feel like she's past it now. But anyway, maybe in the third film we'll see that. Of course, maybe I hope you do, in the trend, in what's been the trend recently, there will be 2 films for the final book. Do you think that's justified, having read the book yourself?
I would say so. And I felt like the end of the third book was really rushed. In general, she was trying to fit a lot of stuff in. And if you know anything about the books, you know that the author has set all of them up in kind of a 3-part, 3-act structure. Apparently she has some history of playwriting or maybe acting. I don't know exactly. So they're all in this tripart structure, but I think maybe it was what she was trying to fit into the third book to finish it was too much. And so it was kind of rushed inside of that structure.
Tori, I asked her on the way home, I said, will you tell me what happens in the third book? And she said, are you sure? And I said, I can just look up on Wikipedia, or I can hear it from you. And from what she told me, I think that it'll be a very big, grand 4th installment. Yeah. Very epic. Lots of explosions and blood and fighting and arrow shooting and kissing. And hopefully more Stanley Tucci, as always. So, we have lots to look forward to. I think I'm definitely enjoying this series, not only because I get to do it with you in person, but because it's a different breed from from Twilight, of course, Harry Potter, which I really hope we can get going soon. But Lord of the Rings happening at the same time. We just saw Ender's Game. Would love to talk about that more. Coming up, another 2 more films that I think interest you to some degree. The Book Thief, which I know you do not have a lot of high hopes for, and I have high hopes for. And then Divergent, which we saw a trailer for, which I know nothing about, and it looks exactly like The Hunger Games. And so, to me,
they're similar,
except that they're just magic or whatever.
There's no magic.
I don't know what happens. Anyway,
we'll get to that one.
You know, it was funny when we were leaving the theater. Some younger girl behind me at the very end. It's kind of a cliffhanger-ish ending. It's not really that much of a cliffhanger, but it's cliffhanger-ish. And she was like, "What is this? Doesn't it keep going? What happens next?" And maybe she did not know that there was another book to go, because the lady next to her said, "Oh no, there's another book. There are more movies to come." And she's like, "I hate this." And I turned around and I said my stupid thing again. I said, "Well, they haven't got all the Horcruxes yet. They haven't caught the golden snitch. So what do you think's going to happen?" You know, I said something stupid like that. She laughed, but maybe she didn't laugh. I don't know. It was funny to me. But yeah. So indeed, if you want to know more, of course, you're free to go check it out on Wikipedia. And we thank you, as always, for watching this series. I have a question I want to pose to my nerd friends out there before we. I have a question
too. I actually have final thoughts this time, but you go ahead.
Well, I want to get yours first.
Okay. My question is, since we didn't have time to go into this in this video, if you have seen the movie and read the books and you know anything about Jennifer Lawrence, what did you think, personally, her personality, the personality of Jennifer Lawrence and Katniss seems to be kind of overlapping for me. I didn't really think of Katniss exactly the way that Jennifer Lawrence has portrayed her, and I think like with her sarcasm and stuff, if you've seen a Jennifer Lawrence interview, you know that she's really
SNL.
sarcastic sometimes, sassy, funny, and I think that was kind of coming through. Maybe my vision of Katniss is just not in line exactly, and so if you have any thoughts about that, drop them in the comments.
Please do. No one ever writes in the comments on
if you
YouTube.
made it through the video and you have an opinion, we want to hear it.
My question is for the nerds. If in a three-way fight, all conventional weapons allowed, who would win between Bella Swan, Hermione Granger, and Katniss Everdeen? So Bella just gets all her powers, but no freaking weird vampire baby, just herself, no one else.
As a vampire, right? So
of course.
Okay.
Otherwise, it would be no fun. Hermione gets her wand and all of her spell abilities. You can even say from the epilogue if you want. So after she's a teacher, did she teach at Hogwarts in the end? Whatever. After she marries whatever his name is. So when she's a witch, full on, and then Katniss Everdeen with her instincts and archery skills and all of that. Who would win in a fight? Where should it be? It should be in an empty room with titanium walls. That's what and breathable air.
Baby doesn't want this anymore. It's time to say goodbye.
What do you think, baby? Is there a fourth person we should throw in?
She's got me covered in drool, so let's go.
Very good. Well, thank you again for watching. Like and subscribe if you care to. We surely appreciate that when you do. And as always, hope that you are doing very. Hope that you're doing well. BB. Dirty news. Dirty news. She's running like a mockingjay.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, friends.
Bye.
Bye.